So, if we look at number 3, I could not represent this with coins because how would I represent -7? There's really not a way to do it because everything that we did yesterday with the pouches and coins was plus and was positive. So we're now going to think about using our opposite operations. We want to get the part that has x in it by itself. We want to get 8x by itself, which means we're going to get rid of -7. What's the opposite of -7? Jaden.
Jordan. I'm going to be called Jordan.
Jaden. Plus 7. So we're going to add 7 to both sides. So we're doing opposite operations here. And so on the right-hand side, I have 121 plus 7. That's going to be 128. On the left side, we're going to bring down the 8x. It's important that you're bringing down whatever you have on both sides. And now it's just a one-step equation. So this is, again, would be the same thing as 8 times x. So we get rid of it by doing what, Winter? Division. So we're going to divide this side by 8, and that's going to get the x by itself. We're going to divide this side by 8. And so 128 divided by 8, you might not know off the top of your head. So you could do a little long division, or we could grab a calculator and figure that out really quick. Is it 16? I'm just going to double check. 128 divided by 8, except I typed in 88, is 16. So we'll get 16. So if you didn't have a calculator, you'd have to do long division there. But since we do have our calculators, with something that's got big numbers like that, we can go ahead and just work that out. Okay? So we undo the addition and subtraction first. You undo the multiplication last. You're not going to have any division to undo on these for 6th and 7th grade. Okay, so let's take a look at number 4. We're trying to get the 7r part of the equation by itself. We want to get rid of -6. How can I undo -6?
What? Oh.
Brian. What's the opposite of -6? Adding. Very good. Adding 6. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. That gets rid of this -6. And so we're going to bring down what's left on the left side of the equation. So we still have a 7r there that we haven't gotten rid of yet. We're going to copy the equal sign down, and then we have 22 plus 6, which is 28. Raise your hand if you know what to do next. Winter. Divide by 7. So we're going to divide both sides by 7, and that'll give us r equals 28 divided by 7 is just 4. So remember that this right here just means 28 divided by 7. We just are not going to use this division symbol very much because later you're going to have to leave your answers as fractions a lot, and this just kind of sets it up as a fraction. It's going to help a lot in high school if we do it that way. Okay, so let's take a look at number 5. So what's my first step? What do I need to do first? Somebody who hasn't helped me out yet. Johnny. Add 4. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. That gets rid of the -4. So now we have 6 plus 4 over here, so that's 10. On the left side, we're just going to bring down the 2p. Then to get the p by itself, we divide by 2. Make sure you're dividing by the number that's being multiplied here. So it's 2 times p. It's the 2 here we want to get rid of. Some of us were trying to divide by the 10 over here, and that's not what we're really looking for. We want to get p by itself, which means we're trying to cancel out the 2 on this side. And so we get p equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right, so up to this point, I feel pretty good about it. Now we're going to start seeing some negatives. Okay, we did a whole unit on integers, the negatives and positives, and the rules for adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but we have to remember those integer rules. So let's take a look at number 6. So to get rid of plus 8, we'll subtract, right? So we're going to subtract 8 on both sides. And over here I have negative 5x. I have to make sure when I copy it down that I'm getting that negative 5. And I'm copying the equal sign, And then I have 83 minus 8, which is 75. So I do have a negative in here. You're still going to do the same process. We're still going to divide by this negative 5 to get rid of it. And then I have to divide this side by negative 5. Does anybody know what 75 divided by 5 is?
That's a 7.
It's 15. So is it going to be a positive 15 or a negative 15? Okay, so I'm hearing some negatives. I heard a couple positives. Which is it? Raise your hand if you think you know, and you can tell me why. Caroline.
Negative.
It's negative, and can you tell me why?
Because a negative and a positive.
Good, because they have different signs. So we just divided different signs. So remember our song, same signs positive, different signs negative. So this is still division. The top was positive, bottom was negative, so the answer comes out negative. Okay, so let's take a look at number 7. The left side looks like what we were doing at the top. The right side does have a negative. So we're going to subtract 5 to get rid of the plus 5 first. Subtract that. Oh, and I just draw this line across. I guess I should explain it. Just to make it look like kind of an arithmetic problem, we subtracted 5, and so now I'm going to get my answer. So I will have 6m to bring down here. And over here, this is negative 85 minus 5. Some of you may need to write that out this way. And then you may need to write out the keep, change process. When we're subtracting with negatives, you keep the first number. You're going to change this to add, change this to negative 5. So we're actually thinking of this as negative 85 and negative 5 getting added, which is how much? Negative 90. Good. So this is the part that's going to get tricky. So don't get in a rush. Take your time to write it out and think about it. When you're subtracting with negatives, you do need to do the keep, change. Okay, so now what do I need to do to get m by itself?
You have to divide them both by 6.
Divide both sides by 6. So I'm going to divide this side by 6, and that gets m all by itself, which is the ultimate goal. We are trying to get it by itself. 90 divided by 6 is 15. And since I have a negative and a positive, different signs, I'm going to put a negative symbol on my answer. It is negative 15. Okay? So the only reason there's so many of these is because there's lots of little negative, positive things that I wanted to review with you guys and make sure that that wasn't going to be a big hang-up. Okay, so number 8 is a little bit special. Does anybody see ahead of time what's going to happen? Go ahead, Tommy.
The answer, once we subtract the 8, is going to be 0.
Yeah, when I take the 8 off both sides, I'm going to have negative 9n equals 0. So this canceled out, and then this side ended up canceling too. Now we can go ahead and do our process. We're going to divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9. And so it's just 0 divided by negative 9. 0 divided by anything is just 0. So you can get 0 as an answer. It's okay. Sometimes people freak out and they're like, but it went away. Sometimes 0 is just the answer. 0 just happens to be one of those numbers that crops up. Question, Tommy?
When that happens on like a worksheet, do we have to do the rule, or can we just say
Show me a little bit.
Okay.
And then you could jump to this. I need to see that you've got 0 somewhere first. Okay, so on number 9, there everything is negative. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
So, first thing we're going to do is get rid of the minus 3 by adding 3. Okay? So it's negative 45 plus 3. So I'm thinking 45 worms and 3 spiders. So that's going to be negative 42. The worms would win. Okay? And then on this side, we're going to bring down the negative 3p that's left. It's very important when you are doing your division on the next step that you are writing down the negative and the 3. If you lose a negative sign somewhere, your answer is going to end up being wrong. So you've got to watch those signs. So now I've got p by itself, and I have a negative divided by a negative. Those are same signs, which means this will come out positive. 42 divided by 3 is 14.
Hooray!
Okay, so let's go down to number 10. So on number 10, we will go ahead and do our steps. I do not want any noises. Thank you. I am recording right now. So we are going to subtract the 1 off both sides. Now remember, when you're subtracting with negatives, I like to write it this way because I think it makes it easier. You're going to keep the negative 53, change it to plus, and change this to negative 1. So it's actually negative 53 and negative 1 that you're adding. So what would I get?
54.
Negative 54. Very good, guys. And then on this side, we'll just bring down the negative 9p. Then we go ahead and divide by negative 9 on both sides. And again, it's negative divided by negative, so my answer will have what sign?
Positive.
Positive. Same sign, so we get positive, so p is just going to be positive 6. On this problem, let's talk about how to check your answers. You should never turn in a paper with algebra and not know if you have it right, because you guys already know how to check to see if 6 is a solution to this equation. How do I check that? Go ahead.
You substitute the 6.
Substitute the 6 in here. So if I wanted to check my answer, I can take negative 9 times 6 plus 1. So negative 9 times 6 is negative 54 plus 1 is negative 53, and that's what they have on the other side of the equation, and I know I did it right. You can also check it on your calculators. So if you want to see that, I can show that to you guys later. But you all know how to tell if this is a solution. So when you're doing your assignment, what you should be doing is either in your head, on the paper, on your calculator, somewhere, you should be checking and making sure that your answer works, because you know how to do that. Okay, we did a whole couple of days on how to check solutions for equations. All right, let's get this finished up. Number 11, first step is to add 4 to both sides. So if I have negative 40 and positive 4, what am I going to get? Negative 36. The worms win again. And then we bring down the negative 3k. We'll divide by the negative 3 to get k by itself. And what am I going to get for the answer? Raise your hand if you think you know. Brian.
Negative 12.
Okay, since these are the same signs, I'm thinking it's going to be positive 12, but it is 12. Okay, so remember, if they have the same signs, the answer comes out positive.
Negative 3.